The Maine Wabanaki-State Child Welfare Truth and Reconciliation Commission uncovered the truth about state child welfare practice with Native people in Maine. The Commission's report made the invisible known, acknowledged cultural genocide, and produced recommendations. For Native people, the sharing of stories broke community silence, provided healing, and affirmed that the resultant trauma is not their fault. For non-Native people, the process was an opportunity to learn and take action toward a more just future for Native people. In this film, the commissioners reflect on the process and share lessons learned.
You know, the fact that the tribal population is so diminished, that the land base is so diminished. There have been harms done from earliest colonization that need to somehow be acknowledged. And it's not that we in our lifetimes perpetrated those, but as you've taught me, we benefit.
I needed my colleagues as commissioners to understand that it's not just racism, that there is a very orchestrated genocide that has not ceased. And if we're really honest about reconciling, then we're talking about the whole picture. You know, and that's where all the work is going to be. How do we reconcile not only the past, but how the past is informing the present?
I realized after I listened to that first statement, there's absolutely no way I can separate myself or my work from the work of those who came before me. And you know, it's mine. I own it. I own this legacy, and I can't put it aside to someone else. We are not clean, and we can't be clean until we stop it and do our best to allow people to live in their cultures and celebrate that as we celebrate our own.
I was there representing both the education establishment that educated social workers and the white social work community, and that wrongs had occurred, to let people know right up front that I'm saying these wrongs were committed.
More awareness in my own part of my own growth from being, as a girl, part of what I felt was a marginalized community to being dominant culture. And so within me, there's that piece of myself that still is a marginalized girl and a dominant, privileged white woman. The focus of the change was not so much necessarily between Native and non-Native people, but it became more about change at the individual level, change perhaps at a family level, change perhaps at a community level, in terms of healing of the intergenerational trauma.
Healing never looks like what you think it's going to look like. You can pray for healing, and I was taught, do not pray for that unless you are ready to go through the process of healing, because it requires work. So it's a beautiful and miraculous process. It brings you more than you ever even could think of to pray for.
If I think about some of the white social workers, particularly that I talked with, I guess a sense of healing for them was both a light bulb for them and saying, yes, this is what I participated in. Yes, I was part of that cultural genocide.
That's one of the problems, I think, culturally, historically, demographically, with being the white males, that we do a lot of talking. And I thought, really, I owe it to this process to do more listening than talking. I felt that fit more into what our true mission was, which is to bear witness. The best approach I could take was just be open to everything and see where it took me in particular. I felt incredibly empowered by that sense of overwhelming responsibility, even to guilt, is that we have the opportunity to stop this and to change it.
We trusted each other's motives in terms of why we had each chosen to do this. And I think we all relied on the fact that we each felt the other to be equally committed.
Well, reconciliation was a big thing for me, you know, and I realized that because we were naming it Truth and Reconciliation. Well, truth is a fairly easy matter to, I mean, we can complicate it. But reconciliation is the real hard one. And if we're really honest about reconciling, then we're talking about the whole picture.
Reconciliation is not an event, it's a process. What it looks like, it will look different in every single community, because that process, is a dynamic. It's something that's alive, and whatever that community needs, we begin to come into that person we were meant to be when we came here. That's healing, is we were all meant to do something here. We all have a gift, we all have something to contribute. A true trauma-informed process would be a healing-informed process. And we would be looking for and engaging things that bring healing. If you've been given a gift to do something, doing it is not going to bring bad things.
That's what the truth and reconciliation process is really about. It's about staring your faults in the face and addressing them and owning them. And I think the most important story is our own, and what we do next to change the trajectory of that story.
Don't overthink it. Begin where you can. Learn whatever lessons you can. Be flexible. Take whatever wins you can. And suck up whatever you get, whatever you lose. Because it's not going to be a perfect process. It's not going to be neat and tidy. It's the right thing to do in terms of acknowledging harms and trying to take whatever means we have available to address those harms. One of my hopes had been not only would this form of an intervention spread to other places, but that it could be beginning of a larger conversation here in Maine. Because there's a lot in terms of truth and reconciliation beyond the ICWA, child welfare situation, that needs to be addressed. And in another circumstance, it could have been that this commission led to another commission, to a larger truth and healing process.
It may look like you are not making any progress whatsoever, and then bam, there it is. So change will look more like the tribe identifying and building a healing initiative, because we have said from the beginning, the tribes know what they need.
So for me, healing is synonymous with change. And healing and change is synonymous with reconciliation. It's inescapable.